Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Awesomenauts League with Bets. My name is SlowWolf, and I'm going to be your caster for these matches. Today, we've got the qualifying rounds between Team Free Palestine and Team GALO Sengen. Free Palestine lost their first qualifier round, 1-2 versus Skeletons in Closet. GALO Sengen won their tryout versus Slam Jam East. There was a 1-0, and the Slam Jam East could not quite finish the series. The winner of these matches qualifies for the league and secures their place. The loser has to face the loser of Notorious Knots versus S2S Gaming, and whoever wins that one manages to take the final spot in the league. The loser is out. So this match isn't the end of whoever loses, but it certainly means that they still have an uphill fight to go. Let's get this party started. Game 1, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. As I mentioned before, we got Team FP versus Team GALO. These are going to be some interesting matches. Everyone's still kind of coming down, so let's go ahead with the picks. On the red team, we have Clunk, we have Lone Star, and we have Frog. On the blue team, we have Frog, we have Raylan, and we also have another Lone Star. So, on Team FP, Clunk, Lone Star, Frog, and Frog, Raylan, Lone Star on the other team. So it's almost a mirror match, the only big difference being the Raylan versus the Clunk. And we'll see how that particular pick comes out. GALO going in for a bit of damage, but the blue Frog misses. The Dynamite comes in, but just barely misses, and the blue Frog manages to get away just. And everything kind of goes back to a game of footsie knots with the red team, Team FP, taking the middle and collecting a bit of the solar. So they're going to start off with a slight solar advantage. Frog coming in, bit of Dynamite's going to hit our blue friend here, but he's going to get out just fine. Raylan's going around, tossing out some blaster shots, putting out a time rift. Time rift placement, not exactly ideal, but it slows down the Clunk a little bit. Snipe comes out, and it's not going to hit anybody. There's no droids to really hit right now, so it's not exactly surprising. Just trying to go for a little bit of harassment, and unfortunately bad placement there, having this little fixture of the terrain kind of block the line of sight. I'm going to go ahead, clean up some creeps. The red team's kind of stuck inside of their own little, inside of the bush here. And they weren't able to really pick up any of the solar from that creep wave. So that's a little misplay. And that's not going to be a big deal, though. At this early in the game, like a missed droid wave or two is not going to end things. Clunk going upstairs. He's looking for an explode, but I'm not sure if he's going to find anything. Legit Chicken's just searching for it. Blue team goes in with a bit of an initiation. The blue Frog manages to get away. Red Lone Star, same deal, but Red Frog is going to have a hard time. Or not. No, never mind. Looks like the blue team does not decide to capitalize on whatever harassment they managed to put out. And a lot of people are going to go back and buy some more items. So why don't we talk about those items quickly. Clunk going for Solar Tree Bite and Base Explode right out of the gate, so he's already a very effective nuker, and he's going to have a lot of sustain, plus the solar that he's going to have passively. His Lone Star teammate just has his 2 base abilities. He's going for no solar items right now, so that should give him a late game advantage, but he has to get through this early game first, something that Lone Star can definitely do. A little bit of initiation coming out. Spade tries to throw a Dynamite. It doesn't quite end up happening, but Legit Chicken's in a lot of trouble. He ends up going down, and to the attacks of the opponent Lone Star. So really good work by Team GALO Sengen there, capitalizing on the misplacement of the Clunk. He was in a bad spot. He shouldn't have put himself so far ahead without his teammates, I guess. Silver managing to pick up base abilities and regen, so he's going to be able to go in, harass, come right back out, and look shiny a couple of seconds later. So he's going for an early game kind of harassment build. Dash coming out, lots of damage coming out on top of the Frog, but Dave is going to get away just fine. Meanwhile, Team Free Palestine, they're doing a good job of keeping the middle to themselves now. They've got it back, and they've been eating the solar from the worm, or at least trying their best to get that solar advantage. Dash coming out, it's going to hit the blue Frog, but blue Frog is not going to be able to really do much with it. And blue team now taking the middle bush, getting that solar advantage that everyone loves and hates simultaneously on Serona. Silver going in for a dash, it's going to hit. Raylan taking a lot of damage. Raylan is going to not live, unfortunately for her. She ends up going down. And the Team Free Palestine picks up their first kill on the board. We'll see what they end up doing with that. So now they've got the middle again. They got a slight advantage. Let's see how much they can capitalize on it. Get some solar increase. Get a decent solar lead. Currently, solar is about dead even. Got 2 players with 600, 1 on each team, and then a bunch of 500s all over the place. So it's pretty much dead even. Both teams are doing a really good job of just doing what they can, getting the middle when they see an opportunity. Spade taking a lot of damage, but he's going to be perfectly fine. Legit Chicken's looking for an explode. Is he going to be able to find it? I don't know. It's not exactly likely. Raylan's actually going to get away just fine. So the only person that was really within range of explodifying, kind of vanishing in midair, the only opportunity kind of disappearing. Snipe comes out. It's going to hit Legit Chicken, but Raylan's not out of the woods yet. Gets killed off by Silver. A good dash into NATO, followed up by Lone Star Mite to the face. That was the end of Raylan. So that puts Free Palestine 2-1. Now with the slight slower advantage that comes with having that extra kill. A little bit of harassment coming out onto Team GALO's Lone Star. But he's just going to head back and he's going to pick up some items and hopefully some healing. As for the blue team and what kind of items they have picked up, Lone Star going for Solar Tree. Base abilities and now has boots. Solar Tree, an interesting pickup on Lone Star. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it's a really good pickup. It's a decent pickup if you want to go for a guaranteed late game. No matter how badly that Lone Star does, he'll still get all the solar he's possibly going to need in this match. So maybe not the worst pickup, but it's certainly not the aggressive pickup I would have expected out of a Lone Star this early in the game. Raylan just picking up base abilities and boots. She's a little bit harder to kill with those boots on, but has absolutely no solar ability whatsoever. As a result, she's going to be a bit slow coming online, I think. Legit Chicken going in for the explode, but it's not quite enough. He's going to hit nothing with the explode, and then he gets dashed. He gets NATO'd. He's going to bite just fine. Legit Chicken's getting away. He's going to bounce off the thing, but it's not going to be enough. He bounced off the wrong thing. Frog is trying to chase him. Legit Chicken's looking for a good place to teleport home and get away. Is he going to be able to get away fast enough? He picks up both of the creeps. He bites one of them, and he's going to be at half health again. So not a wise choice to go ahead and chase, and the Frog does a good job of not doing that. Spade hits GALO PO in the face with a face mite, which doesn't end up doing much. Dash coming out on Silver. Silver's going to go ahead and walk away from that. But yeah, that the Raylan on Team GALO is going to take a little while to come online with just base abilities. But with that middle area, if she can keep it for long enough, she'll pick up the solar that she needs to start really raking in the solar and getting that advantage that she needs. Legit Chicken looking for an opening. He's not going to find it though. The entire blue team kind of sits to the left and hides underneath the, easily available platforms. Oh, but GALO's Lone Star goes down to a good explode and a stun to follow up. GALO Dave is looking pretty rough. He manages to dash through his own turret to save himself. The red team now in a decent spot to push and get some damage on those towers for the first time all game. Silver going in for some actual damage, but he gets caught in the time rift and Dash NATO dead. He's done. Legit Chicken's bite misses. Legit Chicken's in a really rough spot and gets picked off by Nello Dante. Nello Dante getting the solar, putting the equality back on the table here. 3-3 in terms of kills. And with that, she starts picking up her blaster items. Froggy on the blue team picking up Hammer Pants, so he's going for dash damage first. And it looks like this is going to be a fairly interesting game. Both teams going for a decent amount of burst and a decent amount of DPS on the Raylan and the Lone Star in particular. I find that interesting. I've never really seen Raylan's go for blaster early very often, so this will be interesting to see. Nello Dante, speaking of which, taking a lot of damage, trying to run away, but he's stuck between a frog and a hard clunk and gets killed for it. GALO's PO is going to be a little bit damaged, but otherwise he's going to be fine. Dave is going to have to be a little bit more careful since he's now 3v1. Even if the Lone Star is back home healing, he needs to be really, really careful around this clunk. The clunk has already picked up Universal Charger on his explode, meaning his explode is going to come off a lot quicker. There's no real charge time on it. Even a frog with dash has to be careful of that. So Dynamite and Footsie Knots happening right here. Just a little bit of harassment, trying to poke around, see if we can't destabilize things. Dash comes out, hits one frog, hits two frog. Silver gets caught out a little bit. Legit Chicken comes in for an explode. It's not going to hit anybody super important out of that last kill, but GALO's frog ends up going down. Poor guy. Nello Dante might go for a snipe here on Spade if PO can actually get him low enough, but I don't think it's going to be a thing. Silver is going to come in. He's going to dash. He's going to NATO. Silver's going to put out a lot of damage onto Nello Dante. Nello Dante needs to be really careful. A Dynamite or an Explode can kill him, and he manages to just dodge both Snipe comes out. It's not going to hit anybody. Legit Chicken decides, you know what? I've had enough of this, and decides to go back. He's now got Snare Bite, Universal Charger, and a little bit of damage on the Explode. So that's actually incredibly frightening. It's a really good triple combo to make sure that you keep the Explode on who you want. If you bite somebody, they will get exploded. That's really important against a character like Frog, who can just dash if you're not careful. Dave picking up the Hydro Splash, upgrade another 15 damage on his dash. He's really just going for dash damage at this point. I find that's a really interesting pickup that he got Hammer Pants. I believe, though, that this game was pre-2.6, so that's just a part of his loadout. Picking up Hammer Pants is just the thing he could do with the limited amount he had at his disposal. If he had access to the full shop, I'm not sure that going Hammer Pants would have been a good move. Because, well, think about it. You got a Clunk on the other side, you got a Lone Star on the other side. Both of them effectively can fly, meaning that they aren't going to get hit by Hammer Pants very often. Dynamite coming out from Spade. It's not going to hit anybody. Bullpen trying to get something done on the Blue Lone Star. Blue Lone Star is going to be perfectly fine, though. Just hits a bouncer pad and he's done. Team GALO picking up the middle. They're going to try to get whatever solar advantage they can now. The total solar for the teams is still pretty even, but there is a slight advantage for Free Palestine right now. And GALO needs to play pretty safe and not make too many more mistakes if they want to be able to stay on, at equality with these guys. If they let the other team push even a little bit too hard, Clunk can really ruin their day. Silver going in for a dash. He's going to be perfectly fine, though. He's just going to hop back out like most frogs do. Legit Chicken taking a bit of dash damage. He's looking for a bite into Explode. He's not going to find anything, so he's just going to go ahead and pick up some HP. Oh, wait a minute. Down here, we got we got Raylan. She's not going to be able to get out in time. That is a bad place to teleport, sir. You got killed for that. Frog's going to go ahead and pick up some HP. His teammate Lone Star is chasing Legit Chicken. He's going for the Dynamite, but the Dynamite just wasn't quite on target. He's running away now. He knows that if he gets Bite Exploded, he's probably pretty dead. Takes a little bit of damage. Dave taking even more damage. He's going to get hit by one of the Dynamite sticks and then dash. Dragon punched to the crotch. He gets killed off by Silver's well-timed, well-placed dash. So good job for them. They are now ahead 7-3. Their solar advantage is starting to look pretty not commanding, but it's looking pretty solid right now. It's a really good place to be for them. So we can only imagine that that's going to reflect in the items, and it is currently. Legit Chicken going in for an Explode. Lone Star looking really, really low. He's actually going to get out of there just in time. Red Frog wasn't quite able to make things work. Raylan getting chased down a little bit, takes a bunch of damage, but is not going to get killed. Oh! That frog dash from Dave was so close. He gets bites, he gets exploded, he gets drone killed. Poor guy, stuck in a snare. That's the other way you can do that combo. If you manage to land the explode and then get the snare bite, you can keep people in place a little bit longer to be able to do a little bit more damage. So, really good play by Legit Chicken there, getting his thing on. Silver trying to get away. He manages to dash through Nello Dante. Nello Dante's snipe actually getting canceled there instead of being able to hit anybody. And that was an excellent play by Silver. Managing to not only save himself from the snipe damage, which would have killed him, but also managing to deal enough damage to send Nello Dante back home. So currently, we got, like I said, a pretty commanding advantage for the red team in terms of solar. But this is not over for GALO yet. GALO does have an ace in the hole. Raylan can do a lot of really mean stuff late game to screw over a Clunk. Time Rift is a particularly effective tool at dealing with that. Legit Chicken's going to take a little bit of damage from the turret. But otherwise, he seems he's going to be fine. Dash coming out on top of him. He'll be fine. On the Raylan, I cannot say exactly the same thing for. He got dashed. He got NATO'd. He got pretty badly hurt. But he's going to be able to get away just fine anyway. Legit Chicken looking for a thing to kill. Is he going to be able to find it? I'm not so sure. He's looking to bounce. He's looking to get away. He's trying to get away, and he managed to succeed. Good juking off the bounce pads. Dave going in for a harassment dash on Silver. Silver's going to be perfectly fine, and I can just hear all the rockets all the time. Man, 2.6 helped a lot with the replays. I cannot wait to see the to see the league matches with that. Like, seriously, there was a lot of cool changes they made to the replays. Anyway, Silver going in for a bit of a dash, but he ends up taking Dynamite to the face and not dealing any damage in return, so that does not end up being a very favorable turn for him. Dave taking a little bit of damage. He's going to dash out of there just fine. Dynamite coming out on top of Silver. Silver's going to be a little bit low for the next little while, but he has access to regen now, so he's not going to care in the long run. Legit Chicken now has maxed out his damage. He's maxed out Snare Bite. I wonder what he's going to do next. I expect that he's going to go for some more burst or some more reliability in terms of his damage. Face Mine coming out. Silver is a little bit on the rough edge of things, but he's a frog, so he doesn't really care. Legit Chicken, not a bad spot, but he was almost surrounded. Oh, Legit Chicken goes in for the Bite Explode. He actually manages to land it really, really well. Spade gets picked off by a good dash frog. Legit Chicken running for his life, but he's going to be perfectly fine. His froggy teammate managing to stave off PO on the Lone Star. And Silver's going to be able to get out of there or should get out of there just fine, but he's looking for a kill instead. Legit Chicken wants to help out. He's going to go in. And, nope, he decides, you know what, he's probably behind the turret right now. There's not much I can do. Legit Chicken maybe looking to go in on Dave. Dave is going to duck under that dash, and he'll be perfectly fine. It's going to be a little bit difficult to catch him, all things considered. Dash does a decent amount of damage. 64, all told, with Hammer Pants. Currently, his build is all dash and boots. He doesn't have any real sustain. He's going to dash through the NATO, stopping Silver's cooldown there, and he's going to get out of there. He's a little bit hurt, so picking up some HP, probably not a bad idea. Nello Dante now has access to pills, so pills boots regen. Going for a really tanky build on Raylan, that way she can survive all the bursts. That's probably a really good move. Pills being one of those items that's almost mandatory against certain characters, just because of the amount of burst they can put out. You'd be surprised how that 130 solar, although it doesn't deal any cool damage or do anything, will save your life. Unfortunately, someone else's life was not saved in the meantime. Legit Chicken going down to essentially an entire team's worth of burst, bullpen, and everything. That bullpen out of the Lone Star was really well put. Dave looking to maybe do some damage before he dies, but Silver's chasing him. He might not make it if he doesn't dash properly. This is a battle of dashes, and Dave doesn't quite land it, so he's going to have to head back. Silver, same deal. He's just going to go home and heal. And he's going to pick up the last of his dash damage outside of maybe Hammer Pants that he probably has. He's focused a little bit more, Silver focused a bit more on going for NATO damage, so that way his damage is a bit more spread out. Raylan taking a lot of his own damage, her own damage, but she's going to get out of there just fine. Spade doing the majority of that, and then getting chased away by by Dave. These names, man. Silver gets dashed, dynamited. Silver does not get sniped, though, and he's going to be able to get away because of that. The snipe range, not quite long enough, and by quite, I mean it just wasn't long enough. Poor Raylan. So currently the score stands 9-5. We're 16 minutes into this game. No one has really lost a turret, though the red team, Free Palestine, is on the better end of it. Dave taking a lot of damage. He almost got snare bit there. If it wasn't for that really well-timed dash, he would probably be dead right now. Legit Chicken is looking for a good snare explosion into this. Is he going to be able to land it on the Lone Star or anybody? Who knows? I'm excited to find out, but it looks like he's just going to head back and pick up some HP instead. So, no action right yet. Dave going to go ahead and put out a dash. Silver also putting out his own dash, but taking a lot more damage for it from a dynamite and from a lot of blaster shots. He's going to hurt a little. Everybody's chasing down Spade. Spade is going to be able to get away just fine, though. Snipe coming out, not hitting anybody except for droids. Legit Chicken going for missiles. That was another option, making sure that he had a more reliable way to footsie properly. Considering that he's very effective without any more upgrades on Bite or Explosion for the next little while. So that's good. Silver a little bit low. Snipe coming in. It's actually going to hit. That was a really good bounce snipe out of Nello Dante. Legit Chicken going in for the explode. GALO's really low. He was trying to get the HP, but it might not be enough. He needs to be super careful around Legit Chicken, except for Legit Chicken gets dragon punched by Dave's very timely intervention. So really good job out of GALO here, managing to stick together as a team and exploit the fact that Legit Chicken got really greedy on to PO. Spade taking a lot of damage. He's not going to go down, though. He should be able to hide just behind the turret. Snipe comes out, and yep, Spade smartly stays behind his turret. Now Dante smartly also realizes this and just decides to go for the droid wave. Dave picking up a bunch of the extra solar, and now that solar difference doesn't look so big anymore. There's only about 200, 300 solar difference between the two teams, and this could go either way now. Dave taking a bit of damage. Good dash by Silver, managing to dash through the snipe, and as a result avoiding all the damage while simultaneously dealing it. That's the trick to Frog. You really want to be using your dash for as many things as possible in one go. GALO's PO taking a bunch of damage from dash into NATO. And with no means to really stop the NATO, because few people have stuns in this game, if you can manage to stick on top of somebody with it, that's a lot of damage, particularly with the 2 ranks and boombox that Silver is rocking here. Nello Dante going in for a bit of a snipe, just getting rid of these creep waves before they get too close to the turret and get that shield. Legit Chicken is really threatening, though. If we look at the placement right here, Legit Chicken's just hovering around here, looking for a good time to snare bite into an explode. And he's just waiting patiently. That's one way to play Clunk. In the meantime, though, the blue team is all kind of clustered together in the middle. Just keeping it together. Silver going in for their dash. It's going to hit Nello Dante. Dave is going to get a little bit of damage. Now, Legit Chicken can't quite catch up with Dave to get the snare bite onto the frog. Dynamite comes out, it's not going to hit anything, and Spade goes right back to the middle. Silver doing a little bit of damage to the blue team by dashing through them and doing a bit of NATO. Right now, Legit Chicken's having a hard time actually opening in on these guys. The blue team is incredibly mobile, and they're making it difficult for Legit Chicken to kind of go, okay, here's where they're going, let's predict that they're going to go here, and I'm just going to drop in and snare bite into explode, or explode into snare bite. Either way, he's having a really hard time actually just finding a simple target for any part of his combo. He hasn't been able to do much in the past little while. But who knows, that might be a bit different in a couple of minutes. We might just find that the blue team might slip at this point, but they're playing very well right now. They're not leaving themselves open to that explode that the red team so desperately needs to land in order to win these fights. That's one advantage that Raylan has over Clunk, is that snipe works almost no matter what. Good dash coming out of Dave to hit Legit Chicken. Legit Chicken's not really going to care, though. It's just going to take the droids and pick up the 60 HP he needs in order to be healthy. Again, Face Mike coming out onto Spade. Spade's not really going to care in the long run. Oh, explode, snare bite onto Nello Dante. Nello Dante taking a lot of damage, but it's not enough. Those 3 ranks and pills saving her life. Totally worth the solar spent, and causing Legit Chicken to have to go back as well. So you can see just how important pills is against certain knots. Like I said, Clunk, against Raylan, against high damage, high burst damage characters, those pills are invaluable. If you're dying at all, that 390 solar, once you get all 3 ranks and pills, is a lifesaver. It will save you so much time and effort and will stop the other team from getting so much more money. It's a very good preventative measure. Dash coming out, NATO coming out as well, but it's just not quite enough to keep up to Spade, who has a serious amount of mobility. Lone Star really hard to catch up with. Dash and NATO, but it's not going to hit anybody for either frog. Both frogs just kind of whiffing a little bit. They're like, it's pretty tense right now. We got 2 red team members who are a little bit caught out. Legit Chicken's just looking for something on the right side of the map. Snipe comes out. It's actually going to hit Silver. Silver's going to just walk away. The blue team is managing to hold on to middle here and is doing a good job of trying to flank and get around so that way they can force the red team to split up. With Legit Chicken's lack of mobility because he's playing Clunk, it's actually a really good tactic. Up here, we got both frogs kind of dueling. Dash coming out, though, onto Spade, so it trades roughly equal, if not a little bit favorable for Team GALO here. Currently, things looking really, really even. The solar advantage going the way of Free Palestine right now, but it's not a huge amount. At this point in the game, 500 solar is not as much as you'd think it would be. Bull coming out, sort of grouping everybody together, but it wasn't enough. Legit Chicken did not end up going in with the explode, which was maybe a misplay. Legit Chicken does go in for the explode this time, manages to land his explode into snare bite, but gets picked off for it. Dave doing a good job of capitalizing on a mistake. P.O. just barely managing to live through Silver's little onslaught, and Dave is looking for a dash. He managed to get one, but not the way he wanted. He wanted to get Hammer Pants off too, and he unfortunately does not get that ability. So, Clunk picking up his own rank in pills, Spade doing some backdoor damage, doing what he can to bring down the first turret of the game for Free Palestine, giving them another significant little solar boost and putting their team even farther ahead. Momentum currently in Team Free Palestine's favor, but that does not mean that GALO is out of it. In fact, they are still very close. Their team makeup allows them to do quite a lot with very little, and as the game goes on, Lone Star and Clunk will both lose out on power, while Raylan tends to stick to having a fairly decent late game. And I would argue that it's as good, if not better, than Clunk's. So GALO not out of this by any stretch. Spade taking a lot of damage. Snipe is not going to end up hitting, unfortunately. Legit Chicken going in for an explode, but it's a little bit too early, and he just explodes all over himself instead, not hitting anybody else. So, taking a little bit of unnecessary damage. Snipe comes out, but it's unfortunately malplaced due to this little bit of terrain. Spade was able to dodge it. Dynamite coming out, only hitting 2 people for 1 dynamite stick. Legit Chicken goes for explode, but hitting absolutely no one. I guess he was expecting someone to jump up the bounce pad. Didn't end up happening. Right now, Spade taking a lot of damage. Spade is going to be able to get away, but just barely. Nello Dante flying around. He's not going to end up taking too much damage at the end of the day. Time Rift coming out. Oh, man, red team is looking pretty low on that front, but no one decided to chase them, so right now, blue team has a slight advantage in terms of personnel on the field that are healthy. Snipe comes out, it's not going to hit anybody. Dave taking a risk, trying to put out some damage. It's not going to end up working out for him, unfortunately. Silver trying to do the same problem. Dash coming out, not going to hit PO. Right now, both teams are furiously playing a really tense game of footsie knots at the moment. They're just trying to look for an opening. Dave right now taking a lot of damage. That was a decent opening. That might just send him home for a couple of seconds, which would allow the red team to recover some of the lost ground that they've had taken from them by the blue team's little adventure earlier. Silver going in a little deep. He might be caught out here, but then again, he is also a frog, so I don't think he cares. Legit Chicken managing to put out an explode. Hits the droid wave, so they're now pushing a little bit on top. And now everybody's going down bottom. Legit Chicken picking up the double rage missiles. I call them rage missiles just because anytime that I pick them up, I just get the feeling that Clunk's just pissed off. I mean, seriously, how do you fire 2 missiles otherwise? Explode coming out, Snare Bite coming out, and that's going to hit 2 people on Team GALO. That's actually a fair amount of damage. A 100 damage explode hitting 2 people is 200 total damage. For one ability, that's a really impressive amount of damage. The more people you hit with those AoE attacks, the more effective they are, the more just useful they are. You want to hit as many people as possible, obviously. So being able to hit even like 1 is good. Hitting 2 is ideal. Hitting 3 is the best, and you shouldn't count on it all the time. And that was a misplay. Unfortunately, they tried to defend a turret, which was going down a little bit too quickly, and Team GALO gets picked off by Team Free Palestine. Now the only one left to defend is Frog, and Frog is pretty terrible at defending things. Unfortunately, his lack of actual utility abilities like Bull or Time Rift means that his ability to defend things is limited at best. Dash coming out though, he's doing a large amount of damage to the other team, but the other team got what they came for. They got the majority of that turret's life, and this is looking really good for Team FP right now. They have a large amount of momentum coming in this form of this Super Droid. They're not going to be able to support it in time. It's going to go down before it even hits the turret. But Team Free Palestine only has a little bit left to go on that turret before they can just proceed into the base. And on Serona at this point, if that turret goes down, defending your base is going to be very difficult. And GALO would have an incredibly difficult time trying to find a way to not only defend their core from a Frog and a Lone Star, but on top of that, find a way to defend their core while pushing down every single tower on the other side that is still up and running. Nello Dante taking a little bit of NATO damage, not very much though. Silver taking a lot more damage in an attempt to try to tank the turret and just bring it down. They eventually succeed in doing so. Dave going in for the dash NATO. He's going to get out of there immediately though. He's scared of getting snare bit into explode. And rightly so. If you get snare bit into explode as a frog at any point in the game, even with pills, you're pretty boned. Legit Chicken is just kind of sitting upstairs, dancing. Who really knows why? Oh, Silver taking a lot of damage. He's going to dash away, and he's going to get away? Maybe, maybe not. If he's got access to dash. Oh! Dash into Ninja Worms, into maybe Snipe. Oh, he manages to juke out the Frog. Frog decides to come back anyway. He manages to not get caught up in the bounce. Legit Chicken ends up teleporting back as well. So for now, base defended. Unfortunate jukes by Silver, not being able to quite get away in time. Caught between a Frog who was coming back here and a Raylan on this side, so I can only imagine that that would have been a bit of a frustrating experience. A rock in a hard place, metaphorically speaking. And Team GALO going in, managing to take out their first turret, but they still have a very large uphill battle to go. They still have to take out another at least one turret on the middle. And that would be with a downhill disadvantage. Legit Chicken managing to land explode on 2 people and the snare bite on one of them, so effectively doing the best he could possibly do in a situation like that. That was really good. Managed to take out Lone Star for another 20 seconds plus drop time, and drop time being about 10 seconds or so. So he's out of the battle for almost a minute. Well, more like half a minute. And the red team going to go ahead and cover some of the ground that they lost in that time. Right now, things looking really good for the red team. They have a significant solar advantage. They got the kill advantage. They got all the turrets down. Everything's on their side. They should win this, because it looks like GALO's not going to be able to do it, but they still have a chance. There's still a chance, so long as they can manage to outplay their opponents. Unfortunately, the Melodon's getting picked off by Spade's persistent blaster shooting. Lone Star showing once again that he is the fastest guy in the West. Spade kills out PO as well, so that's now a 3v1 power play for the red team. And Legit Chicken and Spade are just going to go nuts. And Silver manages to take out Dave while we are busy looking at this core just go down. So the first match goes to Free Palestine in the series. They are now up 1-0. If they win one more in the next match, they get to secure their spot in the league. The loser, again, has to face off against the loser of Notorious Nuts versus S2S Gaming. So they're not completely out of the running, but they still have another fight to go if they want to secure their spot in the league. So once again, this is the Awesomenauts League with bets. I am your caster, SlowWolf, and I will see you guys in the next match. Stay tuned, and you guys enjoy yourselves.